you for holding on and for coming back. And we're going to be talking to our new guest here, John Cappello, Dallas medium and psychic. And he is a teacher and a speaker, and he's just an interesting guy. I met you out at, well, I talked to you before because he has a meetup group that's very popular, gets filled up all the time. He's in the business of teaching people how to get in touch with their intuitiveness, and a lot of us have that ability, but he also does clients and readings. And so he was out at the Wellness Expo, and we really got to talking, and I said, you've got to come on the show. So I want to welcome you to the show, John Cappello.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm so happy to have you, and I listened to you. You have a blog talk blog talk radio show that you do every Wednesday at noon, and I've listened to that. And he has a lot of people, and they actually call in, y'all. So you need to, we're going to do that webcam thing soon. So we want you to do that. And if you have any questions, you can tweet us at #CelebrityU. But I want to spend this time because I'm going to be having you back. I want people to get to know you. So tell me, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into this, what you're doing, because it's so fascinating.
Well, as you were saying earlier, that I had a business in West Dallas that kind of just fell upon me when my father died suddenly in 1992. And there was no one else to take over, so I just kind of had to jump in there. And when I did, shortly after he passed away, some of his employees said, there's something going on in this building. And so I said, what was that? What's that? And so they felt there was some paranormal activity going on, and they said, it's just got to be your dad. So what I did was I did some investigating, and I had some psychics and some mediums come over, and they did some of their work, and they said, sure enough, yes, something's going on here. So I furthered that investigation, and I started to take some classes and everything, and I wound up being tested, and I said, wow, I can do this. It was just a natural ability that I had, and I realized that as we tap into our psychic and intuitive abilities, we really learn a little bit about ourselves.
And we were talking about that at the first. Roger was talking how important it is to know who you are, and that feeling that you get when something's not right or whatever. That's a way that people do give off energy. I'm not saying in different degrees, but we all have it. It's developing it.
It's developing it. It's recognizing it. It's paying attention to what the energy is around a person or a situation. And then not denying it, learning how to trust yourself, trust your feelings, trust those hunches, learn how to use first impressions to your advantage, all of those things. And what happens is that we get a psychic impression, and then we logically try to dismiss it. And then later on we go, gee, I wish I had listened to that first impression that I got about the situation. It would have saved me a lot of time and trouble. So these are the things that I want people, or I try to teach people to be sensitive to, and realize that energy has a value in trying to understand it. But with that being said, energy changes too, just like people can change, and situations can change, and something that may not be right at one moment can be right the next, and then vice versa. Situations that are right one moment may not be right the next. Unfortunately, sometimes marriages turn out that way. You're certain that you're marrying the right person, and then all of a sudden the energy changes, and it's no fault of their own, and it's not something that you want to happen, but sometimes it does happen, and so we have to move on with our lives, and this happens in so many different areas in business and
well, what do you think? Your dad didn't want to? He wanted to stay working. Did you ever contact him? Because I know it's communicating with the spirit. Were you able to contact him?
Well, my dad was a workaholic. He was someone that
he didn't know where else to go.
Well, that's where he wanted to be, and that was his whole life, his business. And he wanted to run the business exclusively, so the rest of the family wasn't knowledgeable about some of the things that were going on. And I was a younger man. I was able to pitch in and find out the things that were happening, and I could see why he was under a great deal of stress. And so I was able to handle the problems that he had the best I could, and eventually I was able to sell that business and move on and take care of.
Was he able to move on?
Well, yeah, I believe he has. I believe that he's happy that the problems that he had were resolved, and he can be at peace.
Okay.
Because no one ever really wants to leave a family in dire straits.
Well,
he didn't want to do that, but
well, I mean, it was just because it was a personal story. So you're going to be talking to us today about communicating with the spirit. I mean, you do a whole series. You did your. This is just one of many things that you talk about, but you do actually, since it is Halloween, tell about the history of Halloween. Is that it's when it's the night when the people that are dead can talk to the living, isn't it?
Well, they say that Halloween is when the veil is the thinnest between our dimension and the other side, and so it is easier to communicate with those that have crossed over. And so from that moment, from Halloween on out, the veil gets in a sense thicker.
Okay.
And then as after about 6 months, then that veil gets thinner again, and it all has to deal with the solstice, the winter solstice, and everything. And
but we celebrate it every year, and certainly you went to up to McKinney, and you did the ghost walk, or you conducted that, and he had several people go, and it's a part of, it had a lot of history and some. Watch some of the video. It's at YouTube, and he has a channel there, which you can also get his information from at johncappello.com, CAPPELLO.com, and it's all there. But so tell us, tell us about what you tell new people about contacting the spirit, and if we feel like I had somebody that recently passed away, and sometimes is there a period of time that they stay close, or do they come in and out, or I mean, tell me.
Well, it's their choice. When we pass away, we retain our freedom of choice to make ourselves known to those that are in the living, and so someone like myself hopefully can pick up their energy if they want me to. But I want to just say that there's only 3 things that a psychic can do for somebody, and those 3 things are number 1, they validate a person's feelings. Okay. Because most of the time when people come to me, they already know a lot of the answers, or they know a lot of the information that they're trying to get to find out. And so what a psychic does, a good psychic is able to validate what's going on in their life. And that usually sets a basis for the next thing. And the next thing is a good psychic should be able to present some insight. Because they're detached from the situation, and they may be able to see things from a different point of view and have a different perspective of it, which may help the client grow just a little bit. And then the third thing that a psychic can do for a person is give a future. They can't give the future. They give a future. And the reason why you can only give a future is because
things change.
Things change. People have freedom of choice. You can see the direction that someone is going, and that's about the best that you can do. So when someone tells me I was wrong, or someone says that they made sure that what I said wasn't going to happen, well, I'm glad that they had a more positive outcome because they were able to change that energy. But that's all that a psychic can do.
And so people contact you not just wanting to about loved ones that have passed on, but about their life, their business. I know that you meet with a lot of business people.
I do. Mm-hmm.
That, I guess we're all kind of in flux here with the way things are. But you have lots of different clients, and I'm glad you. One thing I learned from you is that it's when you go to see a psychic, it's not something you go every week to do. It is in fact, you have said that they should, you don't go. You had somebody that wanted standing appointments, but really when you go do it, it's a complete reading, and you like to see them maybe twice a year, once a year.
Yeah, not very often.
Yeah.
It's you read the same energy, you give them the same reading, and for me, I feel like if I see someone too often, the accuracy level goes down, and I just don't think it's ethical for me.
Have you ever had a dream about a client and called them up and said, I had something I wanted to tell you? I mean,
no, I try not to do anything like that because I found that I have to be careful.
You don't haunt your client.
Yeah, I find that sometimes. When I say something, I have to make sure that I'm not just speaking off the cuff, because the people that know me may take something that I said off the cuff seriously and act upon it. So I try to be real careful with what I say.
Well, and I guess there also you have to, when you're looking to go to a psychic, you want to you really want to look for what are the things you want to look for specifically. Of course, we hope they call you.
Of course.
But to be aware of, of course, you do come to their location, correct? You will
there are times.
There are times, but you attend a lot of the wellness expo. I met you out there. But what do you want to know about the psychic before you see them? Should they come recommended, highly recommended, or how do you suggest?
Well, a psychic, looking for a psychic should be done the way you would any other professional.
Okay.
You may ask some others if they've ever used a particular psychic, what their results were. You want to be careful who you choose. Because you do want a little bit of background about them. You look at their website, you see what they have to say about themselves. You do read testimonials, and you find out about their fees if they're clearly marked, and make sure that the psychic is someone that is that's credible with their policies. You want to make sure that when you're getting a reading that the psychic is not making you do all the talking, because a psychic reading requires that the psychic does the talking. Now there may be some refining or a question here and there or something like that, but the general information needs to be detailed enough. It needs to be succinct enough to where you know that that something for sure is going on, and it shouldn't be something to where, like I say, it's a counseling session where you're the one that is giving all of the information.
Okay.
The psychic gives the information.
Well, I didn't realize that we'd already used I want to make sure that we get onto I want to talk about communicating with the spirit on Halloween.
Okay.
So,
right.
so tell us what can we do to set the stage and be more aware of that night.
Okay.
Or any night.
Well, it can happen any time.
Right.
It's just whether or not you want to go to a particular event. There are circles. There are different events that are going on Halloween that you can attend from other
Saturday
mediums.
nights.
From other mediums
Yeah.
and everything. And some of it's done a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but there are others that are serious mediums out there that have groups of people, and they will bring in loved ones and guides that you can hear from. Many times they'll give their name. Most of the times they'll give circumstances about the way they passed away. They may give in great detail information about their relationship with you. Many times you'll have a loved one that may talk about events that are going on in your life right now.
Okay.
And so it's fascinating, the information.